Hey, Fatchay, and good morning. I'm Attorney Trixie Cruz-Angeles, former press secretary in the Marcos administration.
Sa mga waray-waray, maupay nga aga sa mga Bisaya, maayong buntag, I'm former Governor Ben P. Evardone. Good morning po.
And we are
the Spokes.
From the palace halls to our group chats now, we'll be giving you conversations that will make you think and assess so that you could come up with your own personal opinion. For today's Noted by the Spokes, a Manila court has issued a precautionary whole departure order against Senator Jinggoy Estrada, former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan, and 3 other DPWH officials. Wow. Medyo bago ito
Bakit precautionary? Mayroon palang ganun?
Bago yan.
It's different
Supreme
from
Court.
the HDO talaga.
Yes. The Supreme Court issued new rules. So ito yung para pag nag-preliminary investigation pa lang, before trial ito, when they're still establishing probable cause. Kasi ang nangyayari, pag final mo dun sa piskalya, for determination ng probable cause, posibleng tumakbo pa. So ito, precautionary whole departure order. Ina-apply pa rin sa court.
So same effect ng HDO yan?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Pero,
doon lang sa stage ng case.
yes. And pero mas mabigat yung burden to prove yung possibility of flight. Kasi at this stage, sa preliminary investigation, wala pang na-establish na probable cause.
So they can still challenge that precautionary HDO?
They can, actually. But
the
depending on the
prosecution
evidence.
has to prove na talagang may mataas ang chance na aalis, ganun.
Yes. Kailangan may presentation. The prosecution has to show na matinding evidence na may flight risk dito.
Bakit parang ilan lang ang lumabas? Isang senador, tatlong top officials,
Yes,
tatlo or apat. Ang dami ng listahan nung...
Kasi sila pa lang yung kinakasuhan.
bakit hindi pa yung iba? Kulang pa yung may case build-up pa, ganun.
Hindi, that's actually the question most people are asking. Bakit ang bagal doon sa ibang mga officials, giving rise to the question in people's minds na bakit sila pa lang? Bakit ang bagal with the other officials?
Kasi parang siyempre si Senator Jinggoy, sabi, itong mga senador ko, halos pareho din kami. Ganon, parang, tsaka ako nga nagulat, bakit parang konti lang? Pwede bang piecemeal lang ang pag-file ng precautionary
naman talaga
HDO?
Kasi iba-iba. For example, in the case of Zaldico, meron na rin siyang, wala na siyang whole departure kasi wala siya dito. Pero na-file na yung kaso.
Yung precautionary whole departure order, it has to be triggered by a petition.
It has to be applied for by the prosecution.
Hindi automatic yan na sabi ng judge, mayroon kayong nasa preliminary investigation tayo, stage, there is a probability that alis to, issue muna tayo. Kailangan may trigger, may petition.
Yes. Meron kasing right to travel. Yung freedom of mobility natin. So that's a constitutionally guaranteed right. So dahil may right tayo, kailangan may court, kailangan may due process if you're going to take that right away.
So once the probable cause has been established, the prosecution has to file another petition for HDO, regular HDO na.
Yes, kasi nasa court na. Iba na yung jurisdiction. Doon na sila sa court.
So yun
so
far, hindi makaka. Nag-apply pa naman si Secretary Bonoan ng
leave to go back to the US.
Pero saan siya nag-apply ng leave?
You can still file. You can file in court. Hindi, leave of court.
Kasi may ongoing
at saka meron siyang precautionary whole departure order. Dahil may ganun siya, magpapaalam siya sa court uli. So kailangan niyang patunayan na uuwi siya, yung reasons for leaving are urgent. In his case, yung medical concerns yata ng wife niya, which was the reason he left last year.
Yes, earlier, di ba? Pero in fairness na yun, bumalik siya eh.
Oo,
some thought na hindi na nga siya babalik eh, di ba?
Nag-file siya ng counter affidavit niya. Kaya siya...
Hindi ba pwede yan sa sa embassy natin na lang? Or sa consulate, di ba?
In theory, in theory. Pero usually yan, kailangan magpakita ka and then you subscribe before the prosecutor.
Nag-appear pa siya sa Senate. No?
Nag-appear pa siya sa
So,
Senate.
palagi ko
yes.
pa, he can use that as a reason to sabihin, payagan nyo naman ako. Ito yung
Correct.
reason. At saka ako naman, tingnan mo, nandun ako sa Amerika, pwede na ako nagtago kung somewhere else. Pero wala
Good
pa nga
faith.
akong kaso, bumalik ako dito.
So, pinapakita niya yung good faith niya. So that will also count in his favor.
So, abangan natin kung
Correct. Kung totoo.
sino pa yung susunod na marisa ng
Correct, isa pa yan.
precautionary HDO.
Also, noted by the spokes, Malacanang stated that our government will cooperate with Interpol. Should the ICC order the arrest of Senators Bato de la Rosa and Bongo. So,
Ito na naman tayo. Ito na naman tayo.
si Senator Lacson naman sinasabi niya na dapat dumaan sa hukuman.
This time around, sabi niya.
This time around, dapat dumaan sa hukuman.
Yun din ang stand ni Senator Amy.
Yes,
Before,
yes,
in the case of
PRD,
FPRRD, no?
So,
ngayon, patapos, si Senator Risa, sabi niya, this case has to be tackled by the Senate leadership kasi it involves
two senators.
two sitting senators,
Correct.
di ba? Hindi naman basta-basta yan. Hindi nga matatanggal ang senador kung hindi doon sa Senate Electoral Tribunal.
Correct.
Di ba?
Correct.
So, sila din na mag-decide nun. So ngayon, legal yan, masyadong masalimuot ngayon yan. I am sure, yung lessons nung kay FPRRD, nung defense, in this case sila Bato at saka Senator Bongo,
agreed.
I think gagamitin nila yun, di ba?
Correct.
On the other hand, yung ICC side din naman, at saka Interpol, I don't know, i-invoke din nila yung, kumbaga, precedence yung nangyari kay PRRD, pero maraming issue dun yung kay PRRD.
Kasing nakafile si Senator Bato in the Supreme Court, he has been asking the Supreme Court to order the ombudsman to release yung warrant or at least give him a copy of the warrant if it does exist. Tapos pati yung to hold yung pag-a-arrest sa kanya on the ground that the ICC no longer has jurisdiction. Dahil nga nag-withdraw tayo sa Rome Statute.
Walang nakakaalam kung mayroon bang warrant o wala di ba?
Kasi the ICC is not required to publish it. Pwede silang magtago. So,
How about yung
these are
sa
opinions.
counterpart na nila dito? Ang counterpart ba nila dito, anong body? Interpol?
Wala silang counterpart
transnational
dito.
crime or what?
Wala.
Kasi kausap ko yung taga-transnational crime, sabi niya, wala kami dyan, hindi kami involved sa
Ang transnational
ICC,
crimes
sa Interpol
kasi,
daw kami.
usually yan trafficking of persons, trafficking of cultural property, yan yung nila. So, but dito sa ICC case, wala yung counterpart. Also, bakit pa magkaka-counterpart? Nag-withdraw nga tayo from the ICC, from the Rome Statute.
Ano yung mga possibilities dyan na possible na nandito na yung mga taga-ICC?
That's actually what we've been hearing. Na andito sila, tapos naghahanap sila ng ebidensya, at sila yung nagko-coordinate with Interpol.
Pero hindi natin ma-ascertain kung may hawak na silang warrant of arrest kay Senator Bato.
Because it will still be
So,
valid
most
even
likely
if
talaga,
isikreto
nandito
nila.
na sila.
Most likely. Para sa akin, if they're talking about a warrant, malaki yung possibility na may warrant talaga.
Kasi siguro si Senator Bato, siyempre intelligence guy yan, alam niya, dami niya ring mga sources from lalo na sa law enforcement agencies, baka positive siya na mayroon siyang warrant.
In the case of Senator Bato,
otherwise, kung hindi niya, kung hindi siya positive, hindi yan iiwas sa Senate. Most likely, ganun. But we don't know
Speaking of ICC, along with Senators Bongo and Senator Bato de la Rosa, former Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II is included in the ICC list as one of the co-perpetrators of the crimes alleged against former President Rodrigo Duterte. Former Justice Secretary Aguirre will bravely answer all questions regarding this live here at the Bilyonaryo News Channel studio when the spokes returns after this short break. The International Criminal Court has released a lesser-redacted document naming several former government officials as alleged co-perpetrators in the war on drugs case. On hand to personally give us his side on the issue of the ICC's lesser-redacted document naming him as an alleged co-perpetrator in the drug war case is former DOJ Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome,
The
Sec
second-
Vit, sa the spokes sa Bilyonaryo.
Good morning, Atty. Trixie, Secretary Trixie, and Governor Ben. And good morning sa lahat ng mga taga-subaybay ninyo. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for being here, sir.
Oo.
So,
Naswerte
especially
dahil
at this
malakas
exciting
tayo
time
kay
in your
Sec
life.
Vit.
Yes, sir.
Yung una, nagulat ako dito sa lumawas ang mga pangalan.
Ako nagulat ako in case, sir.
Actually, nagulat din ako. Kasi nung una, when it came out, late last year, about September, may lumabas doon, Aguirre. Of course, palagay ko ako na ngayon kasi wala namang high official ng Duterte administration, Aguirre. So, but I did not take it seriously. Kasi wala naman talaga akong kinalaman dyan sa war on drugs na yan, dyan sa EJK na yan. But when it again appeared in the website of the ICC last Valentine's Day pa nga yan.
Uy, how timely.
Sa district pa, ang pagka-timing. So, sabi ko, mukhang seryoso na ito. So, I had to take this seriously. So, ang ginawa ko, I read the website and nakita ko doon na dalawa pala ang possible violations ko. First, in 2010, when I lawyered for President Duterte, when he was being accused by the Human Rights Commission, headed by Secretary de Lima. And during my time as Secretary of Justice in 2016 up to 2018. So sabi ko ganyan, paano naging crime na pala yung pagiging abogado ng isang dito sa Pilipinas? O at least sa ICC. Kasi dito ako, it's purely absolutely confidential ang communications between lawyer and client.
Correct.
So nobody could examine me about this. And besides, it is our obligation to give advice to sa kliyente mo. So, at that time, 2010, hindi pa member ang Pilipinas sa ICC. It has not been ratified. And kaya nagtataka ako kung paano ako nasama dyan when I absolutely knew nothing about this. I only went to Davao when President Duterte, my classmate, requested me to assist him doon sa case ng pinafile nga ng Human Rights Commission. But actually, dalawa kaming abogado doon, yung law office ni E.S. Medialdea at saka ako bilang kanilang kaklase. Pero after my visit, one-day visit lang yun when we went to a shooting range in Barangay Maa, where we inspected the various diggings na doon daw binaon yung mga pinatay ng DDS. At that time, it is a Pinoy administration. Wala namang na-prove. As a matter of fact, they didn't even prove that those bones were human bones. Walang naman na-prove. So, that's why na-dismiss yung case against Mayor Duterte.
The case was filed by the Commission on Human Rights.
Commission on Human Rights.
I
Sa
see.
Davao.
Sa Davao.
And it was dismissed later on for lack of evidence.
Correct.
Sir, yung ano sa inyo, co-perpetrators.
Co-perpetrator.
Yung the others, sila Senator Bato.
Well, lahat kami doon, we are classified as co-perpetrators. So, I believe that this is in connection with the case against President Duterte. Kasi, in order that yung claim nila ng mga complainants that there is a common plan, parang state
There's a grand
policy
plan.
during the Duterte administration, common plan ng kanilang
Term.
ang term.
Common plan.
So, common plan. So, it is in hindi masyadong believable or credible ang kanilang pag nagsabi sila ng common plan without the Justice Department and the Secretary of Justice being included there. Kasi
That is their theory.
hindi magiging credible eh. Kasi paano magkakaroon
I
ng
see.
common plan si
Correct.
President Duterte
I
when I
understand.
am the Secretary of Justice and my department
Would be the executor.
kami ang
Prosecutor.
prosecute, nag-hear muna
Nag-hear.
doon sa complaints nila, and if there is a probable cause, kami ang nagpo-prosecute.
But why the DOJ? Bakit hindi DILG? Kung ang executors nito, di ba karamihan ng ibang co-perpetrators are PNP?
PNP.
Tama.
So, pero ang PNP is under the DILG, not under the DOJ. The DOJ here, in this case, would be prosecutorial.
Correct. Kami lang actually ang mag-i-investigate, ang magpa-file ng complaints would be the DILG or the PNP and the DILG. Kami magre-receive lang ng complaint as fiscals,
And to
throughout
determine
the-
probable
may mga
cause.
victims na lumapit sa inyo.
Actually, may lumapit sa akin and I was instrumental in having the parents and relatives of Kian de Los Santos, Carl Nice, and what's that?
Kulot.
Kulot de Guzman.
Yes.
I brought all of them to Malacanang where they met the president. After meeting the president, sabi ko ganyan, okay, ilabas na ninyo yung complaint ninyo before the president. So, dininig na nag-meet kami sa Bahay Pangarap and the president heard them. And after that meeting, all the policemen involved in the 3 killings were charged, they were tried, they were convicted. And I heard about a few months ago that the Supreme Court dismissed their appeal and affirmed the sentences against them.
So, part ng DOJ doon sa pag-prosecute.
Yes.
Hindi nga lang kami DOJ nag-prosecute noon. Pero yung nga meeting na yon, I was the one who
Facilitated this? Did
ako
you?
ang nagdala sa kanila, ako nag-ipon
I
sa
see.
kanila. Tapos pagbibintangan nila akong if I am in any ang totoo niyan, wala akong kaalam-alam diyan si AJK na yan, diyan sa War on Drugs na yan. We were never consulted diyan sa as a Department Secretary, yan Department of Justice, wala kami. Ang amin lang duty yan, katungkulan.
So, tingin
Tanggapin
nyo,
yung-
Sec, there was a common plan?
Sabi ko
to
ganyan,
execute
yung
that,
common plan yan, invento lang yan eh. Kasi kung common plan yan, and I am a part of that, this is the first time I heard of that common plan. Kaya inimbento lang yan nila. So that it will be used doon sa trial ni President Duterte.
Pero ang sabi naman ng mga victims, this magnitude of campaign would not have happened kung wala talagang so-called alleged yung mga kasama. Hindi lang isa or dalawa.
perhaps maaari may mga kasama kung totoo mang nangyari yan, but yung common plan na yan, they have to prove it.
So tingin nyo, malabo yan sa pagdating sa ICC?
Kasi sinasabi nilang part ako ng common plan eh. When wala akong kaalam-alam, ngayon ko lang narinig yung common plan na yan eh.
I think pagdating sa common plan, this is about a state policy. Ibig sabihin, part ng polisiya, written or through concerted action, na ito talaga yung plano for a mass crime against humanity. No? So mass killing of supposedly drug-involved persons.
Yun ang sinasabi nila na talagang yun ang plano. Kaya lang, ang sinasabi ko ngayon, ba't ako nasama dito when I do not know anything about it? Ang naisip ko lang, and I think I'm correct here, na kaya ako'y sinama ang Department of Justice, ang Secretary of Justice, although wala kaming kaalam-alam dyan, para maging credible yung common plan when they present it at The Hague against
Pero
President
sir,
Duterte.
as the prosecutor in the cases of the police officers charged with killings of itong sinakian nga, don't you think that by that time, alam nyo na yung tokhang?
Alam ko naman yung tukhang na yun eh. Pero wala naman akong, ang Department of Justice naman limited naman kami dun lang sa pag-receive ng complaint. If there's a complaint na malakas, then dinidinig namin, we file it. Pero kung mayroong complaint na mahina, siyempre madidismiss yun because it's without evidence. As a matter of fact, tanda ninyo yung si Mayor Rolando Espinosa, yung father,
Sa Albuera,
Albuera
Leyte.
Leyte. Father ni Kerwin, na pinatay siya sa loob ng when he was in jail.
Yes.
Sabi ko, ngayon, parang madidismiss siya nung at that time eh. So, I don't believe, sabi ko na ganyan lamang yan. So, what I did, nagdududa ako, ba't madidismiss yan? Samantalang nakakulong na yan.
Oo, pinatay,
Ba't papatayin pa yan? So, what I did, ang ginawa ko, and I think the records will bear me out on this, I directed the NBI to conduct a lateral investigation on this matter. And I think they filed a necessary case for homicide. I don't know, hindi ko lang alam kung ano na ang...
Nakulong yung mga police officers.
Nakulong ba yun? So I didn't...
Pero yung iba yata na-absueldo eh.
Merong absueldo. Oo nga, may absueldo.
Pwede namang may
But alam
absueldo
ko,
talaga eh. Kasi hindi naman siyempre lahat yan eh.
So anong steps na iniisip nyo ngayon, Sec Vit, dito, now that you're officially part of the so-called co-perpetrators?
Bago sagutin yan.
Okay.
During my time, Kerwin Espinosa himself was charged before the Department of Justice. Dinismiss namin. Kung talagang kasama kami doon sa common plan na yan, ba't namin i-dismiss? Yan talaga ang gusto namin, malipol yung mga drug lords na yan. So, I think the records will show also that case against Kerwin Espinosa was dismissed.
So, dun sa, sir, as a defense kasi, for crimes against humanity na mayroon alleged state policy, yung actions kasi in this case, the DOJ, if they investigate the perpetrators, like the police officers involved, this will negate the existence of the common plan, so to speak. So what steps did the DOJ take during your time?
In what way?
Sinabi nyo, yung kinakiyan na in-investigate ninyo. What
marami
about other...
Marami bang na-investigate kayo?
Were there any
I
other
think
cases?
so. Kaya lang, at that time, divided na ang jurisdiction ng Department of Justice. Yung mga nasa baba, meaning to say yung first filing lamang, it is being investigated by my prosecutors, the provincial and city fiscal,
local.
and in Metro Manila by the Prosecutor General, PG.
Yes.
Kami noon, limited na kami noon at that time, para umapil lang sa amin.
Sa review.
We are just review. Nandun lang kami. Hindi namin alam yung nangyayari dito, kung dinidismiss nila or what. But I'm sure that there was no... bias against these people, kung talagang may evidence, pinafile yan. Ang problem lang is that during those times, mukhang walang maipresentang evidence yung prosecution, and in fact, yung mga pulis pinaniniwalaan nila. But this is beyond already.
So, ayan na, nandito na tayo. So, ano nang steps na gagawin ninyo?
I said that about 5 months ago, the Supreme Court issued the latest, pinakahuli nilang rules of court ito, no? Yung on extradition. Doon sa extradition na yan, ay sinasabi doon na before a foreign country who is requesting to extradite a Filipino citizen who is here to be tried in that foreign country, nakalagay doon specifically na dapat mayroong judicial intervention ang Philippine courts. Nakalagay doon. So, kung ano man ang iyong defense, kung ano man ang iyong complaint doon sa extradition na yan, the Filipino citizen could present this to the court, and there is a court at least who will decide on this before he will be extradited to a foreign country.
So, pero anong magti-trigger niyan? Antayin nyo ba na nandyan na yung warrant sa inyo?
Hindi lang yun, sir.
Or what?
Yung rules na yun ba applicable sa ICC?
Yun.
Yun nga. I'm going to that.
Sige, sir.
I'm going to that. Ngayon, so, ang problem dyan is that it was denominated as rules on extradition.
Yes.
So, ang sabi kong ganyan, I hope that the Supreme Court will see the problem of Filipino citizens na involved dito sa ICC. Katulad namin ngayon. Kasi ngayon, we don't know what would happen. Yung bang nangyari kay President Duterte, mangyayari din sa amin. So that's why I'm glad that nag-come out ng stand si Senator Ping Lacson na there must be an intervention of domestic court before any Filipino citizen would be whisked to the ICC.
But,
So,
sir,
I am-
do you intend to join Senator Bato de la Rosa in his petition for certiorari before the Supreme Court?
Well, noon yung una, nung last September, last year, hindi ko nga sinuseryoso kasi wala akong kaalam-alam dito eh. Ngayon, when this is repeated and sabi nila, less redacted, all dun sa less redacted na sa website nila, wala naman akong makita kung ano yung charges sa akin. So, what I'm going to do, kasi nandun na yung kay Senator Bato at saka kay PRRD sa Supreme Court, na hindi nga makausad yun kasi hindi ma-prove ni Senator Bato that there is really
A warrant.
a justiciable controversy,
Yes.
which means it needs to prove that there was a warrant.
Yes.
Ang sinaside lang ni Senator Bato doon sa kasong niyang yun is that it was the ombudsman who had been saying that that he saw the warrant, he had a copy of the warrant, and so yung lawyer ni Senator Bato filed a motion before the Supreme Court asking the Supreme Court to compel the ombudsman to produce this warrant.
Correct.
But it was denied.
Oo, sasabihin ng ombudsman, wala naman kami dyan. Yan ang dilema dito eh.
So what I'm going to do, kahapon lang, kasi hapon lang ata ako natauhan eh. Dapat siguro I have also to protect myself. Kaya sabi kong ganyan, well, it is my intention now to draft a petition para for filing before the Supreme Court. Kaya I'm also asking, appealing to the Supreme Court to come out with the same rule where they are going to clarify what are the steps to be taken before we could be taken to the Hague in this ICC thing. So dapat merong rules on foreign tribunals, trials on foreign tribunals.
Yes.
So I believe that
hindi
this rule...
Hindi lang yung extradition.
kasi siyempre, sasabihin nila, extradition lang yan, hindi yan applicable sa ICC.
Kung sabihin ng Supreme Court, wala, we cannot, because we are not a member of the ICC
Isa pa yun,
anymore.
jurisdictional
So,
question.
paano yun?
Hindi, pwede naman maging general.
In general.
Yun,
in general.
Sabihin lang, foreign tribunal, specifically referring to ICC. But they know that there is a problem really. And Senator Lacson has seen it, we have seen it, and we have seen it during the time of what happened to President Duterte.
What triggered the Supreme Court in issuing that rule on extradition? Was there a petition or...
No. Merong ginawa silang technical working group doon.
Baka kailangan may mag-trigger to clarify.
Yung katulad nito, itong appeal natin, ito ang at least the beginning kung meron mong magti-trigger. But doon sa ginawa sa extradition yun, nag-create ang Supreme Court ng technical working group, gumawa sila ng draft, nag-submit sila sa Supreme Court, this a draft of our proposed rules. And then, a few days after, the Supreme Court adopted or approved the draft. And it's now the latest rule, I think, in the rules of court. So, I believe that there must be, sana mayroon, we are again appealing to the Supreme Court na sana magkaroon din sila ng similar rule on what would happen or what should be done when a foreign tribunal is requesting for the arrest or extradite or the extraditing of a Filipino citizen. Kasi there must be due process. The constitutional rights of Filipino citizens must not be violated by any law. Because ang pinakamataas ay ang constitution natin, mas mataas yan kaysa sa treaty, sa katulad ng Rome Statute ng ICC or any other treaty, the Constitution is supreme. Kaya yan ang dapat
You publicly defended the withdrawal of the Philippines from the Rome Statute. So, and well, how do you, look at this now? Is this going to be part of your defense? This is your, and will this constitute your defense, the
Actually, I did
jurisdictional
not expressly
issue?
defend the withdrawal. But I have no objection na nag-withdraw tayo. Kasi nakikita naman ninyo, the process in the ICC is so secret. Bigla na lang may lalabas. This is not acceptable to us.
Yes.
Parang yung proceedings sa mga Western countries ini-apply sa Pilipinas. Iba tayo eh.
If the ICC issues a warrant of arrest with your name on it, what legal recourse would you immediately do? But before you answer that question, those folks will be back after this short break. And the spokes is back, still with former Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre. Our hanging question, if the ICC issues a warrant of arrest with your name on it, what legal recourse would you resort to immediately?
Well, I'm going to resist it by filing a petition before the Supreme Court, just like what Senator De La Rosa did dun sa kanyang kaso. Kasi wala kang pupuntahan. The Supreme Court, the last bastion ng ating justice system dito. Kaya siya lang makakatulong sa atin. That's why, but before that, hopefully, magkaroon na ng i-clarify ng Supreme Court, magkaroon ng rules on this matter para hindi nakabitin ng mga Pilipino. Because the constitutional right of the Filipinos who are being ordered arrested by a tribunal abroad, ano ang kuha natin? Ano ang safeguard natin?
Kaya nga ho, do you think that there should be a trigger for the Supreme Court to amend, clarify the rules on extradition?
Ito na yun.
Kasi
Kasi baka kung walang mag-trigger sa kanila on their own, baka gawin nila pero baka matagal. But in the meantime,
that's correct. As a matter of fact, I agree with it. Ang kwan lang dito is that we could not compel the Supreme Court
yes,
to
hindi
issue.
naman, hindi.
Kaya lang, itong mga katulad nitong mga discussion na ito, katulad nung kay Senator Lacson that there's a need for a domestic court intervention before one could be brought to the ICC. Yan ang mga magti-trigger. So, but there could perhaps be some movement so that this will be, but we're just beginning. Nag-uumpisa na tayo. This will trigger.
Pero ang problema yan, Sekvit, no? Pag sinunod yung suggestion, yung idea ni Senator Lacson, na henceforth, lahat ng mga Filipinos dadaan na sa court muna. Pag sinunod natin dito yan, will that not weaken the case against PRRD? Kasi yung nangyari sa kanya, hindi nasunod yung ganong process.
I don't think so. But what we are just doing is that we are avoiding what happened to him. But it doesn't mean that it justified what happened to him. The defense of lack of jurisdiction is still open to Attorney Kaufman. And yun nga, nakikita rin ni Attorney Kaufman na itong naming us as, the 8 of us as co-perpetrators would be used as evidence against President Duterte. Kaya sinasabi niya, there's no truth to this common plan.
As a former DOJ secretary, and yun nga, ngayon co-perpetrators, no? Mayroon bang kumontak sa iyo na sa legal team ni PRRD? At least to consult, to get some ideas on this so-called common plan?
Walang, kaya nga actually sabi ko ganyan this is the first time, dito lang I think last February 14, kung nalaman yung common plan na yan Kaya sabi ko, invento lang yan Because if it's a common plan and I'm in it, bakit hindi ko alam? I should have known. Di ba? Kasi kasama ko sa common plan
And there should be some kind of documentation.
Yes.
If there was a common plan. Kasi hindi naman aandar, let's say, ang PNP without some kind of written order. Or
Ayun.
at the very
Ang
least,
tanong,
if there's
mayroon ba?
a policy. Kasi you're trying to prove a policy. Yun yung common plan eh. It's a state policy. Kasi required yung state policy para maging crime against humanity siya. Na ano.
Tingin ko walang document dyan. I doubt if there is a
But you will
document.
at least be able to pick it up from other documents. Meron silang sinasabi sana there is a series of documents from the PNP, from the High Command, and going all the way down. But if you look at those documents, they were made public a while back. Parang wala pa
Maybe
rin.
yung documents na yun were implementation of President Duterte's policy against drugs.
Yes.
So sila on their own, PNP, nag-come up with parang, di ba, operational plan, how to execute this.
At yung war on drugs na yan, for the record, na talagang gusto ko rin talagang masugpo yung drugs na yan. But as to how or to the manner, hindi ko alam yan, hindi ako kasama dyan. But
What would you
kung hindi
have
yan
done,
ginawa ni President Duterte, baka maging worse pa tayo kaysa sa Mexico and Colombia ngayon.
Just in case, sir, if you were back, what would you have done differently?
Well, siguro kung yung mga excesses na hindi naman natin matatanggi na mayroong excesses noon during those times, baka kung ako'y may influence noon, baka dapat naiwasan yon. But to tell you frankly, even though I am the classmate of the President and I was appointed as Secretary of Justice, isa lang ako doon sa mabababang mga cabinet member. Hindi tayo yung bang malakas na kwan.
May hierarchy pala.
Hindi.
But sir, ano yung sinasabi ninyong excesses? Yung, for example, yung kinakiyan,
alam mo
would
na,
there have been ano?
yung mga reklamo na mga complaints ng mga ibang mga victims na binaril na lang ganon.
What would you have done? Would you have investigated them?
Well, actually, dun sa position ko as a Department Secretary of the Department of Justice, walang masyadong magagawa eh. Kasi
What about the NBI?
Hindi loop dun sa mga ginagawa nila eh.
Unless
As a matter
may
of fact,
nagreklamo. Unless
pag may nagreklamo, then we are going to. Katulad nung mga reklamo kayo yung kinakuan doon sa mga pulis na pumatay kay Kian,
Siguro
kay
dapat,
Carl, Rice.
Yun, may reklamo yung mga yan. So, are you saying na walang nag-file ng mga complaints?
Hindi,
Or there are very few?
Merong nag-file. Ang kwan lang dito, nalaman natin na yung iba na dismiss. Di ba
Yes,
yung sinasabi ng laban, ganon? Oh. So,
Many of them
but
were dismissed,
wala na kaming
Hindi
wala na kaming
umakyat
kwan doon
eh,
eh.
sa
Sa Department
DOJ.
of Justice, hindi na amin yun eh.
Merong clamor
even-
to have a truth commission.
But
Kasi
even
hanggang
then,
ngayon,
sir,
ang daming issues
hindi.
eh.
Ang isang but as DOJ, kayo yung appellate dun
Appellate.
sa sa prosecutorial level. Wala bang yung mga ganun na cases na umakyat sa DOJ?
Wala.
wala.
Kung kwan, wala akong matandaan. So nandun lang sa piskalya.
So
Yun
there
na
were
siguro sa
cases
dami.
that were
Sa
filed
dami.
because one of the things that we were doing nung time na was reporting on this, pero maraming nagrereklamo. In fact, even the Vice President, si Leni Robredo at the time, was providing legal assistance to some of the victims, but she was decrying, if I remember correctly, the lack of evidence in many cases. So ang tanong is, as DOJ Secretary, ikaw yung chief head ka, you're above the NBI. Could you not have ordered the NBI to look into this?
Well, I did what I could do, no? As a matter of fact, ako nga ang, what I was telling you before, na ako nga ang nag-order doon sa NBI kasi there seemed to be dismissing the case when Mayor Rolando Espinosa was killed inside the jail. Sabi ko, parang mayroong something is wrong about this. So I ordered the NBI and I believe that because of the
naman
investigation of the NBI, it was a case were filed against this policeman. I just don't know. Mabuti ka, alam mo yung nangyari.
Kasi media.
Kaya,
And then, yung kay Kerwin Espinosa, I think he was, yung case against him was dismissed by my department.
na-dismiss.
Ano yung case against
Wala
him?
siya.
Yung bang
Sa drugs din.
Oh.
Naging
Pero di ba
mayor
yun
pa
nga
ulit.
yung naging issue dahil known na alleged drug lord siya. Tapos,
Pero dinismiss namin yun. Siguro, because
Kulang sa
for lack of
ebidensya.
evidence. Pero kung talagang kami kasama dun sa loop, dun sa common plan na yan, ba't namin i-dismiss yun?
Well, sir, question. In this, I always wondered before. You were in the DOJ for about 2 years.
2 years lang. Wala pang 2 years nga eh.
Bakit
From
kayo
June 30,
umalis? Bakit kayo umalis? Curious lang, sir.
I was,
Chismosa ako.
I resigned. I resigned.
You resigned because?
Hindi ko malaman kung... Because mayroong mga controversy nun eh.
may mga issues, yung mayroong di ba hanggang ngayon ang daming hanging issues about this AJK. Yung clamor to have a truth commission. What's your take on this? Para to
Once and for all.
once and for all. Tingin niyo ho.
Well, we could. I just don't, I have not thought about it, but pwedeng, there must be some study about this. Kasi marami ng, ang dami nang nangyari. Ang dami nang nag-aral tungkol dito sa pangyayari sa war on drugs. So, I don't know if a truth commission will add.
Well, kasi nga yung clamor ng ibang mga victims, di ba, na they were denied justice during that time, etc. May mga cases na mga hindi na natugunan. Para in fairness din sa prosecution team, sa PNP, saka sa victims, di ba?
Ang dapat lang siguro doon, talagang those composing the Truth Commission must be men of integrity.
Dapat. Yan, isa naman yan. Dapat kasi baka ma-politicize.
I'm sure na may mangyayari doon.
Okay. Sige, I think parating na tayo sa ito.
Ito yung part ng program where we ask tough questions.
Wala namang tough kay Sekbit eh. Pero una, kung halimbawa ngayon na nandyan na kayo, na pangalanan, magtatago po ba kayo? Are you going to go into hiding?
Well,
even nawala pa yung physical
without the warrant of
warrant
arrest.
of arrest.
sinabi ko na po yan at sabi kong ganyan. At my age, I'm going 80 na. But I'm still actively practicing my profession. Ako pa rin po ang umahawak. Ako pa rin po ang ma-appear sa mga kaso kong hinahawakan. Kaya sabi kong ganyan sa kanila, I will never hide. I will just face it kung ano man yung ipafile sa akin. But I'm going to resist it through legal process. Of course, by which I mean, I'm going to file the necessary petition before the Supreme Court or for any court at that matter. But I will never hide. Kasi, unang-una, pag ako'y nagtago, hindi na ako paghanap buhay. I have to maintain a certain lifestyle and I'm still supporting the education of some of my apo. Sana nga, nananahimik na nga ako eh. Sana nga, akala ko, I'm already in the twilight years of my life na tahimik sana, yung with my family and my apo. Yun ang pinakamasarap na sa buhay sa ngayon after reaching mga 80 eh. But I have to resist. Pero hindi ako magtatago.
Sir, how do you respond to statements that you allegedly filed politically motivated cases against Laila de Lima, former DOJ Secretary Laila de Lima?
That's completely false. Hindi
politically motivated yung...
Hindi politically motivated yan. Swerte nga lang niya, na-dismiss yan because of the, I don't know what happened dun sa kunin, pero her case was dismissed because of recantation. Alam naman natin, ang recantation, hindi tinitingnan niya ng Supreme Court. Eh. Yan ang pinakamahinang reason para i-dismiss ang kaso. Itong si Ragos, ako ang nagpresenta niyan in nationwide TV throughout the Philippines, doon sa loob ng Congress together with about 20 other drug lords. Ako ang nag-conduct ng direct examination niyan, and he admitted or he testified there that he brought 5 million, 10 million pesos doon sa bahay ni Secretary de Lima at that time. After that, so na-file ng 3 kaso yung si de Lima. And bago ka mag-file, alam natin na bago umusod ang isang criminal case, you file against him, you have to swear doon sa affidavit mo. 3 kaso yan, nag-swear si Ragos dyan for at least 4 times during when it was pending before the city fiscal. Anong sinabi niya doon? Again, he repeated na under oath, he called on God to witness on the truth of what he said. Yun ang oath eh. That's the nature of an oath. You call on God to witness on the truth of what you are saying. Na totoo po na ako nagdala ng 10 milyong piso kay de Lima. Okay, so nakalimang under oath na yan. And then, wala na ako sa kanya na because I resigned from the Department of Justice on April 5, 2018 lang eh. So, mga 2020, pinatawag na naman yan 2 times sa Senado. Anong sinabi naman ni Ragos? Inulit na naman niya yun. Na sinabi niyang siya ang nagdala ng 10 milyong piso kay Secretary de Lima. Oh, so ilang beses na yan. So no less than 8 times he was calling on God to witness on what he said. Tapos sa isang recantation lang, i-dismiss mo yung kaso. Reviewin mo ang lahat ng mga jurisprudence or recantation, yan ang walang kwenta na pagbabasyan ng isang dismissal.
Okay.
In my practice of law for more than 50 years, 2 lang ang nakikita kong reason pag mayroong recantation.
Sir.
Either yung voluntary na talaga nagpatawad na or pera.
Oh,
Okay.
sir.
Next tough question. ICC accredited lawyer Rostogadi said that your inclusion as co-perpetrators, he believes that ICC has strong evidence against you. Anong masasabi niyo dyan?
I don't know kung unless he is in touch with ICC kung ano yung evidence na yun. Ano yung strong evidence na yun? Ano ba yung evidence na yun? Why didn't he tell us? Dapat sinabi niya ano yung strong evidence na yun.
So naniniwala kayo, wala?
Hindi naman
Wala,
niya sinabi.
kasi talaga namang wala kong pagkakasala dito. I'm not even involved. I am not even involved with this war on drugs. Hindi ako kasama dyan si AJK. So anong strong evidence na yan? I'm sure kung may strong evidence na inakala niya,
So you're saying you can easily and readily defend yourself before the ICC?
I think so. Kahit saan.
Kahit saan.
Sir, ang confirmation hearing on the confirmation of the charges hearing against PRD will be on the 23rd. Ano sa tingin niyo yung chances niya?
Well, I really can say, but hindi naman tayo umahawak niyan. And I think Atty. Kaufman knows the facts. And dyan sa confirmation hearing daw yan, in all probability, the name of these 8 perpetrators, kasama ako, will be mentioned. I could not really give an opinion dun sa isang bagay na kulang ka sa kaalaman. Kaya yung mga tao na nag-a-ask ng issuance of warrant of arrest kay Secretary Aguirre sa akin, whether from abroad or from local organization, dapat mag-research muna kayo. Ano ba ang ebidensya laban sa akin? Ilabas ninyo so that I could refute it.
Sir,
Unless na kung general statement lang niya, malakas ang evidence kay Secretary Aguirre, hindi, para kang hindi abogado kung magsalita.
Sir, last question. What if kaya ninyong magpadala ng mensahe kay PRD, what would you say to your former classmate?
Be strong, be steady, pray to God that your defense will be heard by the judges who should be fair, and yung aspect ng jurisdiction defense should be pursued. Yun lang ang
Thank you,
yun lang ang
Sec.
may papayo. Yung, sabi ko nga doon sa pupunta sa February 20, kumusta na lang kay PRRD.
Yun. Maraming salamat,
Maraming
Secretary
salamat.
Aguirre.
Ano pa to, running story
very
to?
brave. Bakit kayo kagad dito?
Hindi siya magtatago.
Correct.
Thank you so
Accountability
much.
is never just a legal question. It's also a test of character. National memory shaped not by sound bites but by what happens when power is asked to answer. I'm former Press Secretary Attorney Trixie Cruz-Angeles.
I'm former Governor Ben P. Evardone, and
And
we
we
are
the
the spokes.